You know, when I tell people that there was a brief period where it looked like Ryan Reynolds was going to be a pretty solid, if annoyingly pretty actor who was appearing in mid to low budget films such as Buried and Woman in Gold to some critical praise before discovering that he could make all the money in the universe playing variations of Deadpool, they look at me the same way I look at my script guy when he tells me that Morrissey didn't always used to be a weapons grade plum. A mixture of sympathy, confusion, and wondering if it's time to chuck me into God's waiting room as clearly my marbles have gone and aren't coming back.
I'd like to commit myself.
Very well. Shall I show you to your room, or would you prefer to be dragged off kicking and screaming?
Ooh, kicking and screaming, please.
As you wish.
No!
Because, my dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to watch Ryan Reynolds play Ryan Reynolds yet again in Free Guy, which plays like a mixture of the Lego Movie, mixed with a dash of the Truman Show, a film that actively gave me paranoia for several decades and now apparently has a psychiatric disorder named after it, a borrowed plot device from John Carpenter's legendary They Live.
I've got one that can see.
All set in a knockoff of GTA called Free City. And on one level, it sort of worked with some possibly clever jokes. Our lead, a background guy, is called Guy. His best friend is called Buddy, which I liked. And I enjoyed the characters. The pieces of it all work together, and it's sort of working as a whole. However, something about it just didn't click for me. For a start, the whole thing seemed somewhat childish. I mean, the tone, look, and some of the characters made it seem like this was only a talking dog away from being an 80s kids movie, and I found the whole thing to be somewhat restrained. Especially the violence, since in Universe, no one really seems to be in danger of being hurt. They simply wake up the next day and carry on as normal. In-game day, I hear you ask? Yeah, Free Guy, a title which could either mean that we need to free Guy from his world, or that Guy is now free if you want to read into it, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of theory videos popping up in the next few weeks if that's your cup of tea. As for plot, you've got a bank teller discovering that he's a non-playable character in a violent video game and having a thoroughly understandable existential crisis about it, but then you've got this whole plot in the real world about stolen code and Taika Waititi playing an evil businessman fresh off of a kids movie who could have been an object of satire about the games industry, but instead just comes on, confirms he's still going to burn down the orphanage on Christmas Day, and then slithers off again. The rest of the humans are all one note, and to be honest, they're not what I paid my entrance for. Except there are some small notes of satirising the games industry, or notes that might have been satire if they are allowed to develop, but they're not. And instead of that, they quickly just become maybe jokes if you're feeling merciful, or a wasted opportunity if you're not. Then you have the fact that the game world itself seems so clean or sanitised, and it just made me think that if this film had gone for the 15 rating instead of 12A, then you might have been able to make more of this world, push things further, and do more things with that world, but the 12A forces it to marvelise the violence, where it's all clean and tension-free. Also, the rules don't seem to make much sense, and yet at the same time it's all very predictable. And for me, the best and funniest moment was a 3-second throwaway joke towards the end that managed the Herculean task of waking my wife up and getting her to smile before she settled back down to her nap. 5 minutes in, she had whispered to me, "This is the Lego Movie," and promptly closed her eyes. And look, at the end of the day, there's nothing particularly wrong with Free Guy. It was fun, entertaining, it kept me amused for its runtime, but the seeds were there for something deeper, a more interesting exploration of free will, the limits of our reality, our responsibility to new life, our reaction to the inevitability of a sentient AI in the 5 seconds where it discovers Twitter and decides we all have to go. I imagined it through the lens of Dark City, and I really liked that idea, but we can't have nice things in the world of cinema at the moment. Film, we can't even have superhero films since they all seem to be failing faster than my script guy on a first date. But as for Free Guy, the cast is pretty good and mostly deserved better. I was never bored, and I wouldn't cry if made to watch it again. I'd never dream of seeking it out, but that's neither here nor there. Yet again, a philosophically interesting film has been sacrificed on the altar of make stuff go boom to all of our detriment. So at the end of the day, if for some reason you don't want to see the Suicide Squad, then this'll do, but it could have been a lot more. So if nothing else is on, check this film out. Otherwise, just don't bother. But what do you guys think, and what is your favourite The Real World Isn't Real film? Comment below, let me know. I'm Daniel, been a donkey. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe.